Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as TIFU by buying everyone an AncestryDNA kit and ruining Christmas. This post received 173986 upvotes. Posted by Snorkel721. The post reads as follows. Earlier this year, AncestryDNA had a sale on their kit. I thought it would be a great gift idea, so I bought 6 of them for Christmas presents. Today my family got together to exchange presents for our Christmas Eve tradition, and I gave my mom, dad, brother, and 2 sisters each a kit. As soon as everyone opened their gift at the same time, my mom started freaking out. She told us how she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals. We explained to her how there were actually no chemicals, but we could tell she was still flustered. Later she started trying to convince us that only one of us kids need to take it since we will all have the same results and to resell extra kits to save money. Fast forward. Our parents have been fighting upstairs for the past hour, and we are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. TLDR, I bought everyone in my family AncestryDNA kit for Christmas. My mom started freaking. Now our parents are fighting and my dad might not be my dad. Update. Thank you so much for all the love and support. My sisters, brother and I have not yet decided if we are going to take the test. No matter what the results are, we will still love each other, and our parents no matter what. Update 2. Christmas isn't ruined. My foo actually turned into a Christmas miracle. Turns out my sister's father passed away shortly after she was born. A good friend of my mom's was able to help her through the darkest time in her life, and they went on to fall in love and create the rest of our family. They never told us because of how hard it was for my mom. Last night she was strong enough to share stories and photos with us for the first time, and it truly brought us even closer together as a family. This is a Christmas we will never forget. And yes, we are all excited to get our test results. Merry Christmas everyone. P.S. Sorry my mom isn't a whore. No, you're not my daddy. A comment from user Barjack521 says, Felice not your dad. This comment received 9563 upvotes. A comment from user Ozzy told me too says, 3.1k comments. My ex had blood type AB. She told me her dad had blood type O+. I told her that didn't work. Her mom admitted that her dad wasn't her dad. Fucked my birthday right up. This comment received 3338 upvotes. A comment from user Ebram says, I had the opposite thing happen. I did 23andMe and found out that my first cousins, who I'm not close with, they were estranged for a long time from my dad's brother, also had done 23andMe because it matched us as first cousins. I told my dad this and he was like, wait, it said that Karen is your first cousin? And I was like, yeah? And he asked to see it and then he said, I have to call my brother. Turned out that my uncle has been convinced for decades that his ex-wife had an affair and his youngest daughter, Karen, wasn't really his. Turns out she has been this whole time. This comment received 20,688 upvotes. A comment from user DMan4835 says, my father also used the AncestryDNA kit. He didn't find anything unusual in the results, exactly what he thought it would be. But something weird did happen after he checked the box to allow close matches to contact him. Well, soon after he gets contacted by a woman he had never met who lives over 1,000 miles away from him, saying that Ancestry told her that the two of them are cousins. Genealogical records show no relation, but she told my dad that of her 3 siblings, only one of them had the expected ancestry report. Their parents were no longer living, so no one to ask. Anyway, upon further conversation, my dad finds out that when this woman was born, she lived in the same city as most of my dad's family. So he asks her to send him a picture, and he swears, it's Uncle Louis in a wig. This comment received 8014 upvotes. A comment from user Nixon Carmichael says, people who were just banging away in the 80s and 90s didn't see this one coming. Damn. This comment received 13,543 upvotes. A comment from user SexTornado says, I work at AncestryDNA. This actually happens all the time. Edit. Wow. Didn't expect this much attention. I will gladly do an AMA here soon, as I finish out the holidays. Merry Christmas. This comment received 5520 upvotes. A comment from user Thundergun661 says, "This actually just happened to some non-direct relatives of mine, essentially my uncles-in-laws. His brother-in-law and the wife have 3 kids who all did 23andMe, and found out the oldest girl is not his daughter, but some other guy that his wife slept with early on in their marriage, got pregnant and thought she'd be able to hide it forever. The daughter's like 32 now, so they didn't have at-home DNA tests back then and she probably never foresaw that being a thing. Long story short, we kind of always knew because she didn't look like anyone else in that family, but when they found out they all flipped on their mom about it and now the parents are getting divorced. Merry fucking Christmas." This comment received 6517 upvotes. A comment from user Oh Boy Cookie says, "Shit. Now I'm remembering how my mom didn't want me to get a 23andMe kit last Christmas. Her reasoning was that it was a waste of $99 and I could just average the results from her and my father's exams." This comment received 6196 upvotes. A comment from user Noel Galaga says, * best case scenario. One of the kids has a different dad * worst case. All of the kids have a different dad * worster case. All the kids have a different dad. This comment received 23,816 upvotes. A comment from user Inattentive Primate says, "I was at an eclipse party, and met a guy with a very interesting 23andMe story. He was adopted, and had taken the test a couple of years ago. To his surprise, he had something like 10 half-siblings from his father's side, from all over the country. After contacting them, he learned that his bio father was a serial rapist that had never been caught." This comment received 903 upvotes. A comment from user L1TTLEL4Die says, "And we are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. I'm sorry, but that made me giggle." This comment received 22,774 upvotes. A comment from user Iron While Wearing says, "Love the mental image of all the kids in various states of inebriation sitting in a circle playing, Guess the Bastard. Look at this guy. Look at that fucking nose. You see the rest of us with that nose?" This comment received 34,531 upvotes. A comment from user Joey Racer says, "Excellent Christmas drama. Update us on who is your new dad." This comment received 44,311 upvotes. A comment from user RunBunnyRun says, "True story. My husband's grandfather is not my husband's grandfather. Also, the mystery of why my mother-in-law doesn't look like her sisters was solved all thanks to these kits." This comment received 1283 upvotes. A comment from user An anonymous user says, "She told us how she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals." This adds so much to the authenticity of the story. This is exactly the kind of thing someone comes up with on the spot to try, and fail, to hide something. This comment received 17,454 upvotes. A comment from user Bearded Rugby Monster says, "Do divorce lawyers run holiday specials?" This comment received 3459 upvotes. A comment from user Dick Nipples says, "I mean, it is OP's mom, so any of us could be the father." This comment received 27,280 upvotes. A comment from user The Fairly Evil Twin says, "I think mom may have hid some things. Keep us updated op." This comment received 4289 upvotes. A comment from user SWFL Keith says, "I bought one, and my dad wasn't my dad. And my oldest sister was only my half-sister." This comment received 838 upvotes. A comment from user Del_55 says, "My sister and I both took tests a while ago. My parents just got their results in last week. My mom sighed big time when my dad matched with my sister. She cheated on him just before she got pregnant." This comment received 1307 upvotes. A comment from user An anonymous user says, "Ha ha ha. Sorry, not funny, but a similar thing happened with me. My mom bought both of my sister's DNA kits, and when I inquired as to why I was left out, she told me my results would be the same as theirs. So I asked why she bothered getting them both the kits, and she got dead serious and told me I needed to stop. This comment received 13,177 upvotes. A comment from user 2shifty4you says, "Once took a DNA test that said I had a higher chance of developing Alzheimer's disease. Been trying to forget about ever since." This comment received 4821 upvotes. A comment from user L0RD Logan says, "How to break up a family, part 1. Please give us a part 2. PS sorry about that situation." This comment received 1287 upvotes. A comment from user Defoler says, "A few years ago someone I know found out that his parents weren't his by doing a DNA test. They wanted to check their ancestry line. He was an adult, and was pissed off that his parents never told him he was adopted. The funny thing is, that it was a complete surprise to his parents. They claimed he wasn't adopted, and were sure he was their kid. Turned out he was switched at childbirth at the hospital, so they raised him as their own, and their biological child was raised by someone else. Needless to say, they sued the hell out of the hospital." This comment received 425 upvotes. A comment from user UCR Buffalo says, "Literally every time someone posts a DNA kit in this sub, I know to some degree of accuracy what's about to happen. It never gets old, though." This comment received 930 upvotes. A comment from user An anonymous user says, "Did you have any inkling, clue that someone may have had a different father?" This comment received 732 upvotes. A comment from user Fig_Newton_ says, "Last Christmas, I gave you a test. The very same day, we found out we don't have the same DNA." This comment received 216 upvotes. A comment from user Speed Blitz X says, "Wow, that's going to be a Christmas no one shall forget." This comment received 299 upvotes. A comment from user Netty_More says, "I feel like there's only two ways these kits can go. Oh, that's interesting. I'm 5% Italian. Must explain my love for pasta, ha ha ha. Or, dad is not my dad." This comment received 101 upvotes. A comment from user BGLE says, "My dad's now ex-wife's children refuse to take them too. At the insistence of their mother. Guess they aren't his children." This comment received 422 upvotes. A comment from user An anonymous user says, "Next Christmas will be better with all the dads there." This comment received 416 upvotes. A comment from user Self-Confessed Creep says, "I should have suggested this idea to my fiancé. There is a suspicion in the family that the second youngest brother may have a different dad to the rest, as apparently the mum was sleeping around at the time he was conceived and he doesn't look much like any of the other siblings. They're planning to do a DNA comparison between him and the half-brothers soon to find out for sure." This comment received 269 upvotes. A comment from user Dirk Dragonslayer says, "Hey, your mom is the one who caused this, not you. Do not let her shift blame to you like it is your fault. She is the one who may have cheated. Just remember, whoever it is, the guy who raised you is still your dad. He might not be your biological father, but he is your dad. Personal bonds and stronger than blood." Edit. "Went to watch Muppets Christmas and when I came back this exploded. Thanks for the first silver. I don't know what it does, but I am very thankful. I always grew up knowing family friends better than blood relatives. I don't know half of my aunts' names, and they probably care less about me than I do of them. The people you know best matter the most. It doesn't matter if it is a stepfather, a best friend, your significant other, or anyone else close to you. Those close to you are your real family, regardless of blood." This comment received 2912 upvotes. A comment from user IamDam85 says, "So I spent a year and a half working as a phone agent with AncestryDNA. I had a number of calls with people upset that we ruined their lives due families not being what mom said they were. Remember that the tests may say who you are biologically related to. They cannot tell you who your family is that has been with you all your life and have loved you. It will without a doubt change things, but only to the extent that you let it. This comment received 247 upvotes. A comment from user SG_Dave says, "We are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. It's an unfortunate situation, but I've got this mental image of a group of early 20s siblings sat looking at each other like, I think you might be the one with a different dad, Mary Beth." Nah, Jason, it's clearly you. While Deshaun is sat there, avoiding eye contact. This comment received 369 upvotes. A comment from user Sekare0 says, "Will you be updating and sharing your results when, if everyone participates?" This comment received 231 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "TLDR, I bought everyone in my family AncestryDNA kit for Christmas. My mom started freaking. Now our parents are fighting and my dad might not be my dad. Do tests quickly. Send out before your mom destroys them." This comment received 442 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "Commenting for a later update, maybe you were stolen at birth." This comment received 169 upvotes. A comment from user Matterchemist Frey says, "My family did that a couple years ago. I have a half-brother. Turns out my golden boy dad got his college GF pregnant. She didn't want a kid because she was going to be a career woman. They put him up for adoption 35 years later, 23, and me tells me I, 27 yo, have a 35 yo grandpa. I was joking with my family that grandma was naughty. Nope, dad was, sorta. Next year they are joining us for Christmas. They joined us for Easter this year. It's been great." This comment received 159 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "This is even more of a reason to utilize the kit, as your potential father could have a disease history that might alter your futures and possibly extend your lives. Tough shit on your mom, but she gets what she deserves on this. I mean, if I had one parent with a family history of something like Huntington's, I'd be fucking pissed if I didn't know and passed that gene on." This comment received 382 upvotes. A comment from user Tau_equals_2pi says, "If AncestryDNA had been around when Jesus was born, Christmas might be a very different holiday." This comment received 581 upvotes. A comment from user Eldritch_Doodler says, "My girlfriend got me a kit last Christmas, and the results were super interesting. I found out I'm 49% Irish. I knew I was around half, 49% English. Didn't know that, 0% German. Was told I was quite a bit, 2% French. Wee ladies throwing kisses. And that I have an older half-sister no one knew about, father's side. Turns out my dear old dad had some fun in his early years and got a lady pregnant. She never told him and gave the poor thing away for adoption. Luckily, she grew up in a very loving family, and get this weird shit, only an hour away from where I grew up. Well, we welcomed her and her family, husband and a whole mess of kids, with very open arms. We were all thrilled to have an addition to the fam. I can see how these things backfire, but, for us, it was a wonderful surprise." This comment received 105 upvotes. A comment from user anonymous_potato says, "Twist. Op is actually his father's sister's kid and that cool foreign white-haired chick he's been sleeping with is actually his aunt. But most people are cool with it." This comment received 155 upvotes. A comment from user AJ676 says, "Sadly, this is probably the best present your dad could have gotten." This comment received 188 upvotes. A comment from user C Rose Crizzle says, "Your mom is in the wrong for keeping that secret from the rest of the family for so long. You didn't mess up. Your mom did by cheating and lying about it for so long." Edit. Obviously this was before the latest update. Turns out no one really messed up. Good to hear. This comment received 458 upvotes. A comment from user Mr. Woodlawn says, "I'm dreading the day my kids want to take one of these stupid-ass DNA tests. The only reason they've gotten so popular is because Americans are absolutely obsessed with ethnicity, nationality. One of my sons is genetically not mine. His dad is a rapist that is now diseased. His mom a victim. We've hidden this from him for almost a decade now, and now it's painfully obvious that it will all come crashing down. Every time I see one of those commercials I tear up. The Christmas one where the family members have the percentage shared DNA on display is especially brutal. He's my son. I'm his father. I don't ever question it outside of DNA. I love him equally as much as my other child. I would die for him. He doesn't deserve the heartache that is in store. This comment received 134 upvotes. A comment from user Mr. Woodlawn says, I'm dreading the day my kids want to take one of these stupid-ass DNA tests. The only reason they've gotten so popular is because Americans are absolutely obsessed with ethnicity, nationality. One of my sons is genetically not mine. His dad is a rapist that is now diseased. His mom a victim. We've hidden this from him for almost a decade now, and now it's painfully obvious that it will all come crashing down. Every time I see one of those commercials I tear up. The Christmas one where the family members have the percentage shared DNA on display is especially brutal. He's my son. I'm his father. I don't ever question it outside of DNA. I love him equally as much as my other child. I would die for him. He doesn't deserve the heartache that is in store. This comment received 132 upvotes. A comment from user 2shifty4you says, given your parents' reaction, you weren't the one who fucked up here. This comment received 9661 upvotes.